Hello YouTube, this is Irvin. Welcome back, trainers. So, I said it in my other two videos previously, I never thought I would make good guides, and well, here we are. I received a lot of really good responses, and well, I guess I make more content like this from now on because of you. Thank you everyone for supporting me, and I will do my best to cover whatever might be of your interest in the future. So, you want to be a trainer and raise your own Umas and start bonding with them? Well, you are taking on a lot of responsibilities. As you can see on the screen, there's quite a lot to cover. There's the left side, which is everything around the game, and the right side, which is basically everything Uma related in terms of how to raise them and what to do with them. The early objectives is something I want to cover first. We will then go over and talk about the free SSR Selector, then talk about Rerolling, best support cards. We will talk about the Gacha a little bit, and we will also talk about whether this game is free-to-play friendly. We will then going to cover how to level the Umas, but not really. And the Uma stats explained. We'll go over every stat and what you need to know. We will then also go over training the Umas. Then we will go talking about how to breed parents. I know this sounds weird. And then we will go over the daily quests, and then we will finish it off with Team Stadium, which is the PvP of this game. Alright, section number 1, early objectives. I talked about this in the previous video. All you have to do is go on your mission tab here and go on the top right corner here, where you will find information about the release celebration missions and the Trace and Academy missions. You do them first because these missions will reward you with SSR tickets, which you can use to pull for Umas and for support cards and see what you get from it before you use your SSR ticket. These missions will also help you guide through the game, as they require you to do certain things with certain Umas, and you will naturally learn how to play this game anyways. If you want to earn some extra carrots, you can also go over at the story tab and basically just enjoy talking to your Umas and get rewarded for it. You can also skip those things if you want, but at the beginning there are quite a lot of them, so yeah. It's not something you have to do as an early objective, it's just a way for you to earn more carrots if you really want to pull early on. I personally recommend saving a good amount for the next month when the SSR Kita-san Black, so the speed card, is being released. We will talk about the release schedule a little bit later. Okay, so next to Super Creek and Fine Motion, Kita-san Black really is a timeless card and it ages really well, so make sure you get at least one or maybe a couple more copies of her when she drops. Another objective is to train your Umas for the stadium roster. So if you go down here in the menu and click this button here, you will see this menu option where you can pick Umas for your roster. As you can see, I have filled up my roster. So how the PvP works in this game is you will 3v3 times 5 against an opponent. So to show you an example of how this works, you can pick an opponent here from the screen, and for every track length, you will have 3 of your Umas versus 3 of their Umas for the same track length. By the end of this video, I will show you in more detail how the stadium races are being performed. For now, just remember that you want to fill out every spot there is. So we have a spot for short runners, for the mile, for the medium length, and then for the long tracks, and then the last one are the most difficult to fill up in the beginning, which are the dirt runners. Now, the reason why people suggest Ogre Cap at the beginning is because she is very versatile and she can basically run anything if you train her well, especially dirt. And there are not a lot of dirt Umas at the beginning that you can use. So just play around and see what Umas for what section you're missing, and you know what you will work on next. And the last thing you want to do is to train really good parents with decent blue factors, mainly the speed, power, and the stamina factors. We will also cover that later in this video. Okay, to recap, release celebration, getting good set of support cards, train your Umas to fill the stadium roster, and train good parents with decent blue factors. So what to do with your free SSR Selector? I know a lot of people came for this, and I hinted what to do really in the previous video. So TLDR, every Uma can be viable, so pick your Oshi really, or whoever your favorite Uma is from the anime. So in the early stages of the game, I personally recommend Oguri Cap, this girl here, since she really is a jack of all trades. She does everything, and everything really well on top of that. She's also a way to cheat your way through the dailies, which I will show you also at the later part of this video. Other viable options are also Taiki Shuttle, because she also can be a really good dirt Uma, as you can see. And there are some people that also recommend Maruzensky, but really, it's up to you. Alright, rerolling. Every gacha player's nightmare. So why even reroll in this game? It is really a not must to do, but it will save you a good amount of carrots, or rainbow carrots, if you can snipe Super Creek and or Fine Motion early on. You will use them early in the game until the late game, so there's really no harm in rerolling for those cards specifically. Again, you don't have to do it. Personally, I don't think I will reroll, as crazy as it sounds, even though I would probably regret it for time reasons, but also for other reasons. As in, I do want to play a game, and I had played a game without those cards, and it went fine. Actually, on hindsight, I might reroll. Okay, so to reroll, I recommend rerolling on the phone. First of all, as that is faster, and second of all, it's the only way to reroll, because you cannot reroll with Steam. That's very important to understand. All you have to do to reroll really is very simple. Go on the top right menu here, and then click on this button here, which will bring you back to the menu screen. And you will be back here at the main screen. So on the bottom right, there is this button, and you scroll down. It's everything in Japanese, but basically the last option here will be to delete your account. You delete your account and then just start new. It's that easy. Now that we've talked about how to reroll, this is the best transition to talk about the support cards that you really want to aim for when rerolling or when starting the game. So to access your support card deck, go on the bottom left and click the right menu button here and click this button in the middle. And you'll be taken to your decks of support cards. As you can see, every run will let you use 6 support cards in total. So the thing here in front of me right now is that the game suggests me to use this support card deck, but I am not sure whether we have this feature in the beginning. I know JP has it. I don't own a Gita-san Black MLB, as well as I don't have the other MLBs like Fine Motion here as well. It's really cool if they implement this feature right away. That would be really, really amazing. So at the beginning of the game, your support deck might look like something like this. So we have some random R, Manhattan Cafe, a Daiwa Scarlet Wisdom support, and then some other good speed cards, as well as the card that we can rent out from friends. You will aim for more speed cards, and then +2 wisdom or +2 stamina, depending on whether you want to run short distances or long distances. There's really no need at the beginning to mix your cards to go 2 speed, 1 power, 1 stamina, and then 1 wisdom, something like that, because we don't really have the scenarios right now and the support cards yet that will support that kind of playstyle. Eventually, you also want to collect some good guts cards, because there are also builds with that, but you will know when you will need them. So what are the cards that you are aiming for? Alright, so at the beginning of the release, these are the SSR support cards released. And a week later, we will have the Sweep Tosho support card, as well as the Oguri Cap SSR power card. The Sweep Tosho card is something I recommend getting early on, because that is a speed card that will carry you for quite some time. So to make the long story short, I have already opened all the tabs of the good cards that you want to get. First of all, if you want to reroll, there are only 2 viable options that you want to go for, which are Super Creek, a SSR Stamina type, and Fine Motion, an SSR Wisdom type. Now the community is a little bit divided on who of these to get first. Some say Fine Motion first, some say Super Creek first, really. I personally find that Super Creek will fit into more teams of yours. What makes Super Creek so great is that she offers a lot of increased training stat when at MLB, as well as the Art Maestro skill. one of the best recovery skills that you can get. The only downside though is that her starting bond, which is also a very important stat, which is a desirable stat for every support card, is only acquired at level 45. With Fine Motion specifically, all you want to have on the Wisdom card is to have very high increased training, which at 15% you don't find a lot of support cards doing that, as well as other bonuses that will help you recover more motivation as well as energy when you tap the Wisdom training button during training. So both of these cards, Fine Motion and Super Creek, are very, very future-proof. And basically you will use them forever. So let's say you decided to go for Fine Motion. You can replace Super Creek with Manhattan Cafe or with the SSR Welfare card, which you get for free in the exchange shop for Mijiro McQueen, also Stamina type. Both are viable options. Now I say replace, but really you cannot really replace that card. Eventually you want to get your hands on her. And for those that chose Super Creek, let's say you chose her over Fine Motion, you will replace the Wisdom type for Daiwa Scarlet, or this girl no one can really pronounce her name, Matikane Fukukitaru. Wow, I did it in one try. That was surprising. And this is really just about it for the Wisdom and the Stamina cards that you want to get early on. Alright, so let's talk about speed. As you can see here, I have this special weak SSR speed type card, which is not released yet. I just wanted to show you this because every other speed cards in the banner are really not that great. But this free card that you can get from the story, I think it was story 72, 74, I don't remember, you get for free. And this one, it performs really well and basically replaces every other SSR speed card in the beginning. Her next to Kita-san Black is what you also want to aim for. You will be able to get this card, I think, 1 week later after release, so that's not too far ahead. Also next to Sweep Tosho when she comes out. She also is the other SSR card that I would also recommend everyone to get. She is very easy to MLB as she is an SR. And basically that's already 2 speed cards out of the way that you will need, and then you only have to aim for a Kita-san Black and then one other good SSR option, which we have a lot of them. Now at the beginning, I personally recommend renting out a speed card from your friends list. It can be either Tokai Teo, Silent Suzuka, or Sakura Bakushin O, but only temporarily until you get better cards. As for the other SR speed cards that perform really well are the King Halo, Aishin Flash, the Narita Taishin, and that's about it. And about 1 week later, we will get the also popular Kita-san Black SSR Speed Support card. That was a mouthful. Okay, let's talk about Gacha. You will find the Gacha screen on the bottom right. You will find it really quickly. As you can see, a 10 pull costs 1500 carats, and 1 single pull costs 150 rainbow carats. There really is not a difference between whether you pull for a single or you do a multi, because as you don't really get a +1 pull by doing a 10 like in some other games. There's the character banner, and then there is the support card banner, which does not look like this. It's just the JP version has an event going on. So the gacha rates are 3% for an SSR and about 18% for an SR, and the rest are R cards. Hello, this is me from the future. I totally forgot to talk about the specific gacha rates here for the rate up banner. And yes, this banner already dropped, which is really cool. You can get your Sweep Tosho now. So, as you can see, the rate up SSR card has a rate of 0.75%. So, roughly that requires you to pull about 400 times on average to max limit break and rate up SSR card, in case you're wondering. That accumulates to around 60,000 carats. And as you know, the pity doesn't carry over. So with that being said, plan ahead for your Kita-san Black. Usually the banner cycles every 2 weeks, sometimes less, sometimes up to 1 month. Like the current one we have in JP right now with Chronogenesis has been going on for about a month, but I personally always feel that they rotate them out really quickly. In the English Twitter, they have told us that they will try to catch up to the Japanese version of the game. Whatever that means, I don't know. Will they release multiple banners at one time, or will they shorten the amount of time for them to release the next banners? We don't know, but we'll find out tomorrow. On the bottom, you can also see those orange buttons that require less rainbow carats. These ones are for the paid. Okay, for demonstration purposes, I will do a 10 pull for you. So really what you want to see here are these rainbow colored stalls. So if it's yellow like that one, this is an SR. And if it's an rainbow colored one, which we don't have it, then it's an SSR. Whether support card or Uma. So we just click through them. They just all run past us. Oh, we have Tachyon. Yeah. Alright, next section. I know a lot of people want to know this as well. Is this game free to play friendly? So based on the Japanese prices, a temple is roughly $20 to $25 per temple, which is not particularly cheap, or $13 average if you would get the 5,000 paid carrots plus a 2,500 bonus package, which is priced at about 10k Japanese yen, which is approximately $65. Not sure whether they will change the pricing for that global, but $20 to $25 per temple. I have seen players that have performed really well as a free-to-play, and they were also able to max out some of the most important support cards. So I recommend every free-to-play to prioritize pulling on support gacha early on, and then aim to get maybe 1 to 2 core SSRs, maybe even get them to level 40. Characters are less important early on, unless your faves are on the rate up, then sure, go ahead and pull for them. As always, make sure to use off the rental system to borrow top tier cards instead of pulling them all. So whether this game really is free to play friendly or not is very subjective. So everyone has different circumstances. Whether you want to grind the game out or you want to play it on your pacing, everything is possible. Now, the PvP itself is probably being flooded by the whales and people that have no jobs whatsoever and play this game non-stop, so there's really no reason to compete against them, and you can enjoy the game at your pacing. So this is Meisho Doto. Just to show you, this was run on a very, I wouldn't say crappy deck, but it's so random. It has a very nice Uma parent from that I rented out, and then my Umas are like meh, and she still performed really well. It really comes down to how you play this game. Also, they shower you with rainbow carrots, quite a lot of them. So all in all, I would say yes, this game is free to play friendly if you are not trying to go first place in the arena. Now we are done with the first section and on to the next one, actually talking about how to race the Umas. Leveling Umas doesn't really exist in this game. I will show you why. So if you go on your Uma menu on the bottom left, and by the way, all of these three buttons here, this one, and this one, are basically the same. I don't know why they did this, but you can also access all these menus here by clicking these options here. So with the first one being the actual leveling, which will help you unlock certain skills for your Umas that you can inherit during the training. As you can see, my special week is trained up to level 3, and my Meisho Doto is trained up to level 5 because I really wanted that skill. This is the Arcline Maestro skill. So the Arcline Maestro is a really good skill, recovery skill, that is arguably one of the best skills in the game, as it is universally useful for every Uma, and it really procs in the races a good amount of time. Alright, next tab is leveling the skills. Alright, so in this tab here is how you level up these particular skills. So during the training, you will notice that you will have certain levels on these skills, and the higher the level it is, the lower the costs are for getting these skills during training. On the Meisho Doto, I have my Arcline Maestro at 170 points, but I can also scroll down here and level up the skill here, which I cannot here, but that will lower the cost. As you can see, you can lower it down to 119 instead of 170, which is a big jump. And the lower the costs are, the more skills you can acquire. So the last tab here is your base stats. As you can see, all these Umas have stars on them. So SSR Umas start at 3 stars, as you can see, and level 2 Umas like Gold Ship and Goras Wonder are at 2 stars, and you can level them up by collecting dupes. So duping is not really required in this game, that's why it's also very free to play friendly. As for the Umas, you can just pick whatever and you don't even have to get multiple Umas to make them great. As you can see, the stat increase are almost negligible. The 5-star Grass Wander is not that much better than the 3-star Grass Wander. So on the bottom right in the daily race section, there's this daily race here. You can basically get shards for every other Uma here by racing them, as you can see. You can do this once a day. And that's about it on how to strengthen your base Umas, or I call them template Umas, because these are the Umas that you will use to make more copies of, trained copies of. Alright, on to the next section, Uma stats explained. So let me explain all the stats from left to right, from top to bottom. So first one here, we have speed, which affects the top speed of your character. It makes your Uma faster. It makes sense, as this is also somewhat also a racing game other than a simulator. Speed is also important on basically every Uma and will always be the #1 stat you want to prioritize maxing out. So the stamina stat is a very important stat that lets you finish races, but it's not a stat that you need to max out. Usually, if you're around like the 600 stamina mark, then you will be able to finish most of the races comfortably. If you run out of stamina, no matter how fast you are, no matter how good the other stats are, you will come last place. I would guarantee you that. And you will notice it when your Uma will run out of stamina. Next one is the power stat, which affects acceleration, and it also improves your character's speed when running up hills. Usually at the end of every track there is like this hill that goes up and then down again. And the power stat helps you running up these hills. So in combination with the speed stat is a very important stat that you want to get as high as possible as well, and maximize this after the speed stat and get the stamina stat as high as necessary. There are guts built out there. What the guts is helps you lower your stamina consumption. You will see a high gut stat in the Umas that run long races or medium to long races, as they will require a lot of stamina, and guts just helps cutting down on the stamina consumption. And lastly, the wisdom stat. So the wisdom stat affects the activation rate of your skills, meaning more wisdom means more skill activations. Also, I don't know if some people know that, but it affects how your Uma will position during the race. So you will have some races where your Uma is really good and it should go first place, but for some reason it got like 7th or 6th place because it wasn't able to position really well or able to run out of the pack, and a higher wisdom stat would help with that. However, in the game there is the clock item that helps you redo the run, so even if you have bad wisdom stat you can just do the run again and see whether the RNG really is a factor or your Uma is just bad. Also in the training, this stat doesn't use any energy at all. Instead it recovers energy, which is very useful in a lot of cases. For example, when all the other stat options are really bad. You will see an example later. Alright, then we have this thing here, the turf aptitude, which basically means how good the Uma is on regular turf. And then we have the dirt track aptitude, which what the name suggests, how good your Uma is on dirt tracks. Not a lot of Umas are really good on dirt tracks. That's why Oguricap is favored, as she already has a dirt aptitude of B, and with the right inheritance, she can even push that to A or sometimes even S. Then we have the track length aptitude, which is short, mile. By the way, dirt is always a mile. Then the medium track length, and then the long track length. Alright, then we have the racing style aptitudes. First of all, we have the runner style, which always wants to be at front at all times and basically runs ahead of the pack. Then we have the leader position, which means you try to be always on the 2nd or 3rd position and try to overtake the 1st position at the last stretch of the race, but always try to stay in front of the pack. Then we have the betweener, which are the Umas in the pack behind the leaders, and usually always at the last corner they will get a huge power boost and they will try to outrun everyone. Then we have the chaser position, which is even more extreme than the betweener position, which always tries to be at the back, and similar to the betweener but even more so aggressively, you will power up and speed up trying to overtake betweeners, the leaders and the runners, which makes for really cool comeback scenes. I love this style. So, on to the next section, training Umas. In my next video, I will deep dive more into this topic here, but I really want to cover the basics first. To start a training, go on the bottom right, big green button here, and select a scenario. At the beginning, we can only select the URA scenario. Here, I will just use Diver Scarlet as an example, so we will train this template. And here you can see two big boxes where you will select your parent Umas. So on the left side is your blue Uma, and the right side is the other Uma, which you can also rent out an Uma from your friends list. Now I have a lot of good Umas with good inheritance factors, so I recommend usually you get a good friend to inherit good factors from. That's how you build your Umas initially. But for the sake of this example, I will just choose an Uma of mine. Something to note is that you cannot use Diver Scarlet to basically breed Diver Scarlet. Makes sense? You cannot use the same character to make your own characters, if that makes sense. At the top right, you will see the compatibility circle. Every Uma is different, compatible with another Uma, so just make sure that you have the double circle here and you're good to go. It will affect the bonuses you get during inheritance events, so having at least really good compatibility is always a good idea. Now you will see something interesting here on the stat screen. As you can see, we got the stat bonuses from the factors of our parents. So we got plus 12 in the speed stat, plus 26 in the stamina, plus 21 in the power, and then plus 10 in the wisdom from our parents, which is really bad, by the way. And interestingly enough, here we also see there are changes in the short attitude and in the long attitude, as well as in the betweener attitude, because these are also factors that the parents can inherit. That's also how you train B Umas into even A to S tier Umas in certain categories. To see what exactly the parent Uma inherits, you can just hold and see their information here and check what the Uma itself and the parent Uma, your grandparents, inherit. So for Uguri Cap, it's a 2-star speed factor, and then we have a 1-star stamina factor and a 3-star stamina factor. So the higher these star stat basically means more stats that you can inherit. Alright, to give you an example of good inheritance is this example here. So we have our Taiki Shuttle and a friends list, Yamanin Zephyr. So as you can see, we have 42 in the speed stat, we have 33 in the stamina stat, and then extra 33 also in the power stat. And we have a double circle compatibility, so that is really great. So the Taiki Shuttle inherits a 2-star stamina and 2-star power and 3-star power. And the Yamanin Zephyr inherits 3-star speed and 3-star stamina and 3-star speed. Okay, so I wanted to add that at the end of every run, every Uma gets a blue factor. And the blue factor, no matter what kind of blue factor or how many stars the blue factor has that you will get, it's not affected by the Uma stats that you have gotten at the end of the training run. So a 1200 speed character can get a 1-star speed, and even an 800 speed character can get a 3-star speed factor. However, and this is important, in order to get a 3-star factor, you need to have at least 600 in the stat at the end of the run. For example, this Uma here could have gotten a 3-star factor at random for any stat here. Even the stamina is above 600. Let's say this El Contrapasa has below 400, so below 600 guts, and therefore she will not be able to inherit randomly a 3-star guts factor. So the chances of getting a 3-star blue factor really seems to be around 5% with at least 600 points in the stat, and it gets a little bit higher at maybe 1100 or more points, maybe at 10% chance. At the end of the day, it really is random. Alright, so the stat bonus you get from the parents are plus 5 on the stat for every 1-star factor, and plus 12 stat for every 2-star factor, and plus 21 stat for every 3-star factor. And this bonus is additive, as you can see, for every parent and grandparent. Alright, after you have selected your parents and your Uma, you can click and select your support card deck that you will use for the training. What this does is the support cards will act as NPCs during the training, and you will encounter them, and they can give you hints for certain skills that you can learn, or maybe give you some random events that will help you boost the stats even further during training, or even give you energy back, increase your mood or energy, and whatever really it is. They always come in handy. We roughly talked about how to select those Uma cards. Just aim for 4 speed and aim for either 2 wisdom or 2 stamina cards, depending on the track length. So there's also the 6th type of support card, this Aoi Kyrian, which is specifically used for this URA scenario. They also have special effects when you go on a date. So once you have selected your parents and your deck, you can click and train. So in the beginning, you will be taken to a cutscene. You will get an English translation of this. You can skip here if you don't want to see it. So here in this screen, you will see that Daiwa Scarlet is inheriting some skills. Twice every training run, certain inheritance events will pop up. These usually begin at the beginning of the year, so at the beginning of the 2nd year and on the 3rd year. These are important milestones because we will inherit certain skills and maybe factors from our parents. But for now, let's just focus on this training screen here. So on the top left, we have the day that you're in and the month. Then we have the energy. Then we have the mood, which ideally you want always to be at the highest mood possible when training. That gives you more stats. Then we have here this button. This is for objectives. So you have to clear these objectives in order to progress and finish the training run. Otherwise, the training run will end if you are not able to reach the objectives here. Then here you will have the fan count. We have the stats. We have on the right side the amount of points that you gather through the run. You can click on this button, this book, and you can buy your skills. That's how you learn the skills, right? So as you inherit certain skills or learn certain skills, they do not become available to you immediately. They will only become available to you for purchasing. So you will have to collect those points by doing the races and just doing the training, and then buy those skills, here. And as I said earlier, the higher the level, the lower the costs are. So it can happen that you inherit the same skill multiple times, and that will increase the level and reduce the cost of the skill. As for like what skills to buy, that's for another video, but basically the orange ones are active skills, and then you have the green ones are more passive skills, the blue ones are usually recovery skills or certain other types of supportive skills. So left you have the rest option, which is important if your energy is running very low and you don't want to train, because training uses up energy, and the lower your energy is, the higher the failure rate of the training is going to be. I will show you that in later. So you use the rest option here to fill up your energy. On the bottom, you have this button here, which you can use when your Uma is affected by a certain stat, maybe mood down, whatever. It can happen during the events, and basically this is the equivalent to going to the doctor and then making sure your Uma is healthy again. On the bottom right, this is the racing schedule. At the beginning, there is nothing. Because you have to go through the debut race first, and then you can schedule the important races that you want to do. And then there is this map where you can go out on a date, like this, which was totally not necessary what I did just now. But as you can see, it increased the mood. You will have, after every event, certain actions. Depending on what answer you choose, maybe you get certain stat points, maybe certain stat points get lower, sometimes you get hints, sometimes you get this and that. As to like what exactly each answer does, I will link you to Game Tora. It's a very comprehensive tool that a lot of players use to find out what option does what. So the main and the most important button is the button here in the middle, the training button. This will bring you to this training screen here. As you can see, you can train speed, which will boost speed, a little bit of power as well, and it gives you 4 skill points. You can train the stamina, which will train the stamina and the guts. And here in the middle, you train stamina and power. This is the power button. And then this is the guts button, which trains speed, power, and guts. And then lastly, you have the wisdom or the intelligence button, which will help increase speed by just a tiny bit, but mostly increase the wisdom stat. So it's very important to understand that this wisdom button, you will notice, does not consume energy, but this training can fail if your energy is very low. You see the percentages of failing above the button. As you can see, it's 0% for everything because we have max energy and nothing here should fail. The one that consumes the most energy is the guts one, followed by speed, followed by power, and followed by stamina. You can see on the top right here, when selecting a training session, sometimes these characters appear. These characters are indeed the characters you chose from your support card deck. And each character has this bar on the bottom, which represents bond with them. By maxing out the bonds, you get increased rewards from those cards. And that's exactly what you want at the beginning, just maxing out the bond as much as possible. Sometimes you have these cards here with an exclamation mark, which means they have an event going on where you can receive certain things. And as the stats at the beginning does not really matter that much before you debut, just go for wherever the most support characters are. In this case here, it's on this stat here. Alright, I will play this through until the debut. As you can see on the screen here, the wisdom has been used a couple of times and it has leveled up to level 2. Our maximum is level 5, and the higher the level it is, obviously the higher stat points you will get from training. Here in this example, all the other training sessions have quite a high failure rate. That's where wisdom really comes in handy. Yeah, it doesn't consume any energy, as you can see. It still has a 10% failure rate. And sometimes you will encounter situations like these where you really want to press this button because a lot of characters, Kita-san is here, but it has a 37% failure rate. Sometimes you just have to take the gamble. Yeah, obviously it doesn't work for me. After a couple of days or so training, you will find yourself on this screen here, which means you have a story-related race that you cannot skip. So you have to race this. Before you race, I recommend spending the points to get the skills you need or you want. One of the skills that we want to use is this skill here. Make sure that the kind of skill that you buy is actually something you can use. So for example, this is only for runner types, but I am not a runner type, or nor do I will take the runner position. So buying the skill is a waste of points. And then we can go into the race. So everyone will have to go through this debut race first. This one is very easy. And as you can see, every race has a certain length to it. This one is the medium track length. It's sunny, which is sometimes relevant. Before going into this race, you can see the summary of your skills, how your mood is, how your attitude is for this track. Also the amount of compatibility on the top right. The first circle is speed. If that's double circle, then you're probably fine. Then you have the stamina, and then the last, I think it's power stat. So here on the bottom, you can see the running strategy. We are going to run as leader position because we have an A aptitude for that. On the left side, this is the skip button. So you can skip the race, not watching it if you have finished this race before. During the race, you will also be able to skip certain scenes. For example, I will show you this one. All right, here on the screen, you can see again the competitors. Alright, here we go. So on the bottom left, you can also change the camera perspective, and you can also skip, as you can see. And then other menu options if you want to fiddle around with it, but just try to enjoy watching the race. Remember, we're at the leader position, so ideally we would probably want to have the second, third, or fourth position, maybe even second. So this is not a good example, but if you have a lot of skills, then you will see those skills popping off here at this stage. Especially in the last one, you will see your Uma sometimes use their special skills, which is really cool. So they're unique skills. Alright, here we can see the ult. See? Easy. Alright, so we got first place. Nice. I haven't expected anything else. So on the bottom left here, if you are not satisfied with the run, so if you are second place or lower, you can click on this button to redo the race up to 3 times per race. It also consumes 1 clock item. And then at the end of every race, you get some fans and some items. Okay, so at every race, usually you are able to see them performing on stage. So the Umas are not just Umas, they are also idols. So in that sense, they do perform on stage and you can watch them sing. If you want, you can check that out. Alright, and this is what a regular training session is. Obviously, you have to finish all 3 years in order to finish the training and to get your Uma rated. So it's very easy. So you just rinse and repeat, train them. Focus on the speed stat, focus on getting support cards up. This one is insanely good. You try to want to maximize speed and power, try to get stamina as high as needed. For long tracks, you want to aim for the higher gut stat, so the stamina consumption is reduced. So as for the wisdom, you really never really focus on it. You naturally get this from pressing the wisdom button if you need to do it. You can end a run by clicking on the bottom right, and you can either go out and continue the run later, or you can just end the run entirely. Alright, on to the next section, breeding parents, or aka factor farming. This refers to use usually 4 Umas with high compatibility and inbreeding them until you reach satisfying inheritance factors on all of them. So do you have to do that? Not really, but it does help out for some people to have a set of Umas, for example, that have their grandparents and the Uma themselves have 3-star factors on, let's say, all speed or all power or all stamina or a combination of those. It's really hard to do in the beginning because it takes a lot of time. Not that it's difficult, it just takes a lot of time. So how this works is you can also read this on Game Toro. We're going to use the combination here with Vodka, Daiwa Scarlet, Grass Wonder, and Konopasa because they have good compatibility between each other. You will first start with Grass Wonder with the parents of Vodka and Daiwa Scarlet. You train her until she gets a good factor. And then you use that Uma to train the other 2 Umas, so Grass Wonder being a parent with a great inheritance factor and Daiwa Scarlet, and you will then train El Konopasa, and then until you get a good factor on El Konopasa, and then now you train the Vodka with Grass Wonder, who has a great inheritance factor, and then El Konopasa, who has also a great inheritance factor, and then now you have a Vodka with really good inheritance factors. Because if you train her and your parents, your Grass Wonder and El Konopasa got really good factors, let's say 3-star speed, 3-star speed, and for some reason Vodka also got 3-star speed, then you suddenly have a 9-star, that's how we refer them, Vodka, who has very high compatibility with Daiwa Scarlet. So you rinse and repeat that for every Uma basically. You get really good Umas for every stat that you desire. And certain Umas just require some other Umas for compatibilities. Especially Oguri Gap, for some reason, she is compatible with a lot of Umas. Alright, on to the second last section, daily quest. Okay, so the first one is to win a race, and the second one is to do a daily race, and the third one is to do 3 daily races, which are easy to do. Then we have a stadium race that you have to do, so 1 PvP, and then you have to finish a race. That can be sometimes a hassle because you cannot go into the training and just quit out of it. You actually have to finish the training run or have to get thrown out by not achieving your milestones. Okay, so Oguri Cap in literal sense is cheat code. So some people use her to finish the dailies very early. As you can see on the top right corner, the only thing she has to do as her first objective is to get to 3,000 fans. And you can easily do this by not doing any races. You just go and do the debut race, which by the way, you want to win the debut race and you just rest after because you want to win at least 1 race for the dailies. We have fast forwarded to Oguri and her debut race. We just finished this one, and after we just want to skip every day by resting. As you can see, her fan count is at 1,100. Again, like I said, we can not just opt out here, that will not get us the daily quest done. Instead, we have to rest for, I think, 24 days or so. Eventually, you will get a warning here because it tells you, hey, you haven't reached your milestone yet. You better take care of it, otherwise your training run ends. But that's exactly what we want. And as you can see, we have failed to finish this training run by not reaching the milestones. And that counts as a completed training run. As soon as you get to this screen, that means you have completed the training. You have your Uma rated also. And as you can see on the right side, we have done this quest because we have finished this run. By the way, the last two ones are guild missions. These are not required for you to get the 30 carats here. Now you just have to do the daily runs, which are skippable, which are very easy to do. You just do 3 daily runs, so then the first objectives are ready, and then you do have to do 1 daily stadium run. So we go on the bottom right. On the bottom left, this is where you do your daily runs. As you can see, we have 3 tickets, 3 a day, pick whatever. And this one is also done, as you can see. Now, the only thing that's left is the stadium run. So you go into this section here on the top left. And as I said before, you want to work on this roster eventually. Alright, and this will also take me to the last part of this video. To wrap it all up, together with the dailies, we will talk about Team Stadium. So this is among some of the other game modes in the tab, the PvP content. So the stadium is a place where you fight against other people's Umas. So you really want to fill out your roster because you will run 3 versus 3 5 times against the opponent. Obviously, you can skip the races. You don't have to watch them all by one, but you can watch them if you want. But here, this is our roster. At the beginning, as I said before, the dirt Umas are a little bit hard to come by to fill these slots, but you will get there, don't worry. So we have 3 short Umas, 3 for the mile, 3 for the mid, and 3 for the long tracks, and then we have 3 for the dirt Umas. And here you select an opponent. And as you can see, it's 3 versus 3 against the other opponents racing for the same category. We have our dirt Umas racing against the opponent's dirt Umas, the mid length against the other medium length, then the long length against the other long tracks. The mile against mile, and then the short Umas against the other short Umas. And what you can see here is every Uma also has different moods. Ideally, you want to get them up to perform well because mood affects performance in races. To do that, you can use certain items here to boost their moods. For example, this one is mood up. We can use that. And here we are on the screen where you can either click this button and skip to the end, or you can just skip one race one by one. By skipping it, it basically runs the race and it will show you the final result. Here, this one we won. We can click this one and click on the top right on the green button here to watch the race again if you want and see how and why they performed the way they performed. So you can skip them all. Alright, and here we go. So since this one is a best of 5, you only need 3 wins to order to win against the opponent. And that is basically Stadium. Very fun to do. That's again what you train your Umas for, but it does require a lot of Umas, as you can see. So with that being said, we have also finished our dailies here, as you can see, which we can claim them all. And that's also finally the end of this video. It was quite long. At the time of recording this, it's exactly midnight right now. Umamusume has its global release in exactly 2.5 hours my time. So I'm going to quickly edit this video, push it out, and see who's faster, the release or my editing skills. And anyways, this video you will find either waking up or as soon as you check out my channel. So see you and happy training. Bye.